Here we go, it's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do. Making art, you and me, trying to find something to believe. Because I'm running wild, I'm running free. Still got a lot of shit left to see.
We're in a weird landscape right now where there's so much to watch, but it seems like none of it is really that good. Everything depends on old IP, and we can never escape the requels, prequels, sequels, reimaginings, remakings, retellings, and we somehow always seem to get something that feels either rushed or just poorly written altogether. So, here is a series of underrated TV shows and movies and other things to watch that I've enjoyed. So if you're looking for something you may not have heard of before to sink your teeth in, so if you're looking for something to watch or become obsessed with, then sink your teeth in while we're all waiting for the next great thing. Here are my recommendations. Now, the first suggestion has become a Netflix cult classic, if I do say so myself. It's called Sense8. This is probably a TV show. If you're looking for underrated gems on Netflix, you've probably heard this show as a recommendation on a lot of people's lists before, but this one is something close to my heart. I've seen Sense8 3 times now, and I try to get anybody who I can convince to watch it. Sense8 has 2 seasons. It was cancelled in its second season, but the story is still a complete story. So don't let that take you away from trying it out. It's 24 episodes long. It's a drama, mystery, and sci-fi thriller. The story stars a group of people around the world who are suddenly linked mentally and must find a way to survive because they're being hunted by people who see them as a threat to the world's order. In this story, the group of people in question are Will, Riley, Kafi's son, Lito, Kala, Wolfgang, and Nomi. Each individual is from a different culture or part of the world, and in the aftermath of a tragic death that starts off and kicks off the show, we see them kind of share this weird dream almost, or vision. We don't know quite yet when we start the show, but in any event, we try to figure out, or the show lets us figure out what connects these strangers. And as we get to know that, not only do we discover a weird phenomenon in this world, but we also discover a underhanded plot as any. And that's all I'm going to say. But as far as diversity goes, this show is probably one of the highest up there you could put on the list, which makes it so much fun and interesting getting to know this group of characters, because again, they're so diverse. So there's so many different interests and personality traits that you can kind of enjoy from this mixed bag of characters. Couldn't rave this show anymore. I'm not sure how much I'm selling it, but go ahead and watch. Lebanese Snicket. Lebanese Snicket is a 2-season show on Netflix. It's fully completed, so it won't leave you on a cliffhanger. It's a black comedy drama with a lot of satirical and campy undertone. Camp is probably the overtone. This is based off a book that was turned into a movie, and now we have the TV show on Netflix. So like this piece of media, this story has foreseen various ways to be presented across media. It's gone from book to movie and now to TV show. I've never read the book. I loved the movie when I was younger, and somehow I think the TV show even freaking does better than that. I feel like this is one of the few pieces of like storytelling that has gotten better and better and better with each medium they choose to use to tell it. When a mysterious fire destroys their home and kills the parents, the Baudelaire children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, are placed in the care of the distant relative Count Olaf. He's an actor who is determined to claim the family fortune. Following Olaf's failed attempt at getting the Baudelaire's fortune, his plot is exposed. The Baudelaires are placed in the custody of a series of inept and unsympathetic guardians time and time again. And then they try to elude Olaf and his followers and uncover the mystery behind a secret society that involves their parents' past and Olaf. And this is the mysterious and melancholic Lebanese Snicket And so we follow the Baudelaire children in their adventure and trying to seek justice for their parents as well as discover what led to their melancholy and misery. Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf, replacing, well, not replacing, but I'm sure is compared to the movie casting quite a lot with Jim Carrey. And I have to say, obviously, Jim Carrey is very well known for embodying very theatric characters and blending into like these very crazy and dramatic roles, and Count Olaf no less. But I think Neil Patrick Harris does almost, I don't know if it's surprisingly well, but he really astonishes expectations in his portrayal of this role. The 2023 TV show Power, which was based off of a book, a young adult book for young girls and young women, is a science fiction and dystopian drama that is thrilling, to say the least. Based on the New York Times bestseller, The Power is a world with a twist of supernatural meets nature and I guess biological differences. Suddenly, women develop a mysterious and new ability to electrocute at will, and this leads to an extraordinary global reversal of the power balance that is the patriarchal society that we all live in. All teenage girls in the world develop the power to electrocute people at will. It's hereditary, it's inbuilt, and it can't be taken away from them. Coming alive to this newfound power brings a fury and a rage within women across the globe. At some point, the young women learn that they can awaken the power in older women as well. And soon, this becomes of a great concern, and everything changes. I quite enjoyed this TV show. I watched this with me and my boyfriend, my roommates here in the house, and we just gobbled up this series so quickly. It's played with great. It's portrayed by great acting, and you can really feel the stakes. It gives a lot to think about from a psychological perspective of the power balances that we face in the real world, and a lot of the situations where women are, or at least women feel oppressed in and are oppressed in or stuck in, and all the times in the society where we are put second to men. So definitely worth the watch. Switching it up with the movie entry, we have Intergalactic. Enter, Enter Galactic. According to IMDb, it's a television special, but I'm gonna call it a movie because that essentially is what it is. So it's an animated movie created by musician and actor Kid Cudi. It's really good, and it has a lot of Kid Cudi's music in the soundtrack of the movie as well, given that it is inspired by one of his albums. So like I said, inspired by one of his albums, it is a companion piece to the album of the same name, Intergalactic, and it was initially supposed to be a TV series, but was then redeveloped into this special or movie. Premiered in September 30, 2022, exclusively on Netflix. Intergalactic is a romantic comedy, and it uses an art style inspired by that of I Lost My Body, 2019, and When Harry Met Sally, 1989. The movie stars character Jabari, a charming streetwear-clad artist on the cusp of real success, and after a chance running with his cool new photographer neighbor Meadow, Jabari has to figure out whether he can make space for love in his life. So, like the description says, it is a romantic comedy with a starring role voice acted by Kid Cudi, and then the female opposite interest is acted by Jessica Williams, and this is voice acting. And I've seen the movie, that's why I'm making the list. As far as rom-coms go, it's probably pretty up there. It probably won't ever get the credit that it deserves because it is animated, and probably because it has. But I'm telling you, it is definitely worth the watch, and it is an enchanting watch indeed. And if only just for the visual aesthetics and the pure beauty of the animation style and all of the hard work I'm sure the animators went into making it, it is worth the watch. So enjoy. This is a disappointing one to put in the cancelled selection or category of this list, but Partner Track 2022 is a legal drama, comedy, and romance. It has only one season and only 10 episodes because it was released in 2022. I remember watching it when it premiered because there was literally nothing to watch, and I wanted something more career driven and based and rooted in reality. I'm getting a bit tired of the dystopian and supernatural these days, and I have been yearning and looking for TV shows or movies or content media or other forms of entertainment that are kind of more based from maybe like I guess what you would call probably in the early 2000s girl boss media, but without the toxicity of I always want to like be productive from 2 a.m. to 2 a.m. And so also it was fun to have a legal drama background or drop as the setting because I went to law school and I have a legal background in my professional career right now, if you didn't know. But obviously the legal aspect of the show is nowhere close to realistic, but still I enjoy the aesthetics of a legal firm in any event. So this one is centered around Ingrid Yun, an idealistic young lawyer. She struggles with her moral compass and her passions as she fights to climb the partner track at an elite New York City law firm. Her plans are being thrown off all of a sudden by a new colleague who arrives from London, who she begins to fancy. And that's basically the start of the drama of the show, which, cliche, yes, but I found it very enjoyable while I was watching the series. It was the first thing I've seen her in quite a while. She's a really good actress, and I was really excited to see Asian American face as well starring in the role. So honestly, so disappointing. But if you guys know any kind of corporate career girl boss content that I can find that's a bit more kind of like chill and self-aware that I can consume, please give me some suggestions in the comments below. From reality TV shows to vlogs, I'm just looking for someone to kind of inspire me into my next era of planning for my 30s. Next on the list is Russian Doll. Again, we have another Netflix original, as they call them, which, by the way, does not mean that it's like internally Netflix homegrown product. Anyway, Russian Doll is another Netflix original on the list. Sorry guys, I pay for Netflix. So from 2019 to 2022, it has 2 seasons and 15 episodes. It is a dark comedy. It's described as angsty and has mystery and psychological drama. So Russian Doll is about a cynical young woman called Nadia who lives in New York City, and she keeps dying. So we're getting a it's kind of a Groundhog Day scenario. She keeps returning to the same party that's being thrown in her honor on that same evening. Every time she tries to find a way out of the strange time loop, she just somehow ends up back exactly where she started, in more of a disarray and upset than she was the last time. So, in our story of following Nadia, as I said, it's a celebration for her. This celebration is about her 36th birthday, and in order to figure out what's happening to her, she has to solve the problem with some mysterious guy who's also somehow going through the same thing. Now, Russian Doll, I would say, is a very fun and magical way of kind of going through and processing the trauma that Nadia has in her past life. And this trauma is centered in parental trauma, not to give too much away for the plot. And both characters essentially struggle with some kind of issue that has been developed throughout their life and they've been struggling with throughout their life in turn. And through going through this reflection of their life and a repeat of their death, they have to internally and externally solve their problems together. We have another piece of animation on the list, but this time we have an animated series. It's Inside Job. So, Inside Job is an American adult animated science fiction sitcom, but it's kind of like an office based sitcom. So, think more on the lines of kind of like Parks and Rec, but animated series. So, the series premiered in 2021. There are two seasons of the show. Unfortunately, it's not a complete show. It got canceled in 2022. Why? I couldn't tell you. The show is amazing. So it's a workplace comedy, as I said, like think Parks and Recreation, think Community, think The Office. But it's a paranoid fiction. So it's science fiction, adult animation, and an animated sitcom. Think um think if Cabin in the Woods was a think if Cabin in the Woods was animated and was a TV show instead of a movie. I think that's kind of like the ballpark where we're getting here, kids. So, um, the series The series is written by former Gravity Falls writer, which kind of shows to you why we're doing paranoid conspiracy fiction here. This is right in his ballpark, and we're here again. And he's also the showrunner and executive producer and creator Alex Hirsch and BoJack Horseman director Mike Collinsworth. Feet all are contributors on this project. So, again, it's very easy to see why this is so good. Inside Job is a workplace comedy set in a world where many conspiracy theories are real. Centered on an American shadow government organization named Incognito Inc., it's set in Washington, D.C., and it's one of six organizations that control the Earth. The others being, of course, the Illuminati, top on the list, Atlanteans, the Reptoids, Catholic Church, of course, and the Juggalos. I don't know. The series follows a team led by tech genius and her new partner as they work in the organization alongside many other weird people like a reptilian shapeshifter, human dolphin hybrid, a sapient mushroom from Hollow Earth, and, you know, other kinds of dastardly and weird people. But Reagan is the name of this female character. She is very BoJack Horseman esque. She's very house coded, and honestly, she's just a delightful character. She's far more empathetic than any of those characters, of course, being because probably because she's socialized as a woman, and she's just a great character all around to kind of follow in this weird story. And it's 2025. I'm sure Girl Boss is coming back, so it's a good watch. The show has so many fun gags and comedic moments. The punchlines are punching. It's nothing less than funny. It's absolutely hilarious, if I would more accurately put it. So, if you're looking for something short and bite-sized to watch with at least a few episodes to enjoy, then please do watch Inside Job. As I said, Reagan is a great character, but even besides Reagan, is a fun group of side characters as well, and a great cast of voice actors, including the great Tisha Campbell here and present. So it's worth a watch. Talking about animation, another one on the list we're going to talk about is Captain Fall. Captain Fall is very much like another item on the list, Inside Job. It's a very kind of like dark comedy type bit, very absurdist, but this time instead of just a playful work comedy where everyone is in on the gag. It's a crime drama where there's one where our main character, Jonathan Fall, is being set up to take the fall for a smuggling and human trafficking ring that's being disguised with the front of a cruise ship. So he's hired as a captain to lead this ship with the whole entire crew being in on the setup that they're eventually going to blame all this on him if anything goes bad with their criminal enterprises that's behind the scene, which also means that they have to spend a great deal of time hiding the fact that there is an entire like criminal enterprise embedded within the ship's system that they can't make him aware of, because otherwise he wouldn't be a patsy that doesn't know anything. So, in all of that, we get two great characters, which is Captain Fall, who is Jonathan Fall, as well as his female opposite, Lisa Barrel, who's kind of like the leader of the traffickers and is the main person, who essentially is the manager of making sure, the project manager of making sure that the criminal enterprise is ran smoothly and that Jonathan Fall is set up to fall for this. But she, in working with him, and as well as what seemingly is a lot of other members of the crew, generally seem to get to like him as a person, especially as they go through his self exploration and development journey from going from this very like meek person who easily fits the criteria of someone who will like get set up because they're so naive and gullible and meek, to someone who kind of just finds his footing and becomes more sociable, and they get to see what different skills of his are actually useful instead of what they assume to be, because one thing, he wasn't great in one area of life, meant that he was completely useless. No, actually, everyone has their strengths and so does he. So it's a really fun show to watch, and it's so funny. The jokes are nonstop. They really do a great setup. It has great comedic timing, as far as punchlines go, and it's very similar to an Inside Job. So if when you get tired of Inside Job, you want something to kind of like scratch that itch, go to Captain Fall, and vice versa. Hacks. Hacks is finally another Amazon entry. Appeared in 2017, or at least I've watched it on Amazon. It's available on Amazon in the UK to watch, last I saw, but I don't think actually is made by Amazon. But Hacks 2017. It has 3 seasons, and I think the fourth season was said to be coming out in April 2025. Not have to check to see if that is out now. Then, but it is a comedy drama, a workplace drama, and a drama of self discovery of a character within their 30s, as well as kind of like a older mentorial character kind of in their later part of their life in their 60s. So Deborah Vance, a legendary Las Vegas based stand up comedian, needs to reinvent her aging act. And she needs to do this to avoid losing her residency at the Palmetto Casino. Ava Daniels, our bright young budding 30-year-old, is a young comedy writer who's unable to find work due to an insensitive tweet and her reputation for being self centered, which she is, and arrogant. When Ava's agent sends her to work as Deborah's new head writer, the two slowly bond as Ava pushes her new boss to take more risks, and Deborah, in turn, helps Ava start to work through her personal problems. So, fun workplace comedy drama, but it also is mostly about the self exploration of kind of like these two characters who have to kind of like mirror each other in a way, and kind of like yin and yang each other, one being a mentor, a clear mentor to the other, and seeing them build a relationship and both try to work through their own interpersonal problems and support each other and lean on each other is actually such a beautiful um, sight to behold. And the two characters, the two characters and the actors who portray them, astonishing, well done, well acted. It really does um, bring so much to what really is a simple plot. And in terms of comedy, they create such a fun mix of events that kind of feel like relatable but kooky all at the same time, in order for you to like have a laugh but, feel grounded in the show. Please do give it a watch on whatever platform you choose.